The Center for Educational Disparities Research at Penn State is focused on understanding and addressing educational health disparities across the life course, particularly during early and middle childhood.
I think of the Center for Educational Disparities Research as a hub that basically brings independent researchers like myself who are working on topics that kind of looks at the intersection of educational and health disparities.
We've been investigating racial and ethnic disparities and disability identification in childhood. So we've tried to contrast children who look observationally similar, including in clinical need for services. And what we consistently find is when we make those contrasts is that children who are white and English speaking are much more likely to be identified as having disabilities and so receive treatments or services.
And I think sometimes that health disparities and educational disparities are just two sides of the same coin. And there's been a lot of research about better children's health promotes their own learning and their outcomes.
There's been suggestions that difficulties in sleep might lead children to be less attentive, less engaged, and so start to struggle more academically and possibly engage in more externalizing or internalizing problem behaviors.
We see sleep health as a major public health issue. Sleep disparities start very young, even before school, and then at all stages of schooling.
We recently received funding from the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development to examine whether disparities in sleep routines during early and middle childhood help to explain achievement or behavioral difficulties in school, including for children from historically marginalized communities.
Emergent bilinguals are children who speak a language other than English at home and are in the process of developing English proficiency to be able to participate in school at grade level. It is the fastest growing population in the United States. There are also many challenges that face this population. Historically, it is an underserved group, and there's a huge need to ensure that we address the disparities in educational outcomes for that group of students.
We find that these disparities are persistent, especially black-white disparities are persistent across grades and across states and different samples. And I think that's an example of how the center thinks about analyzing educational disparities broadly, both within school and processes that might lead to disparities in school.
So as part of the Child Maltreatment Solutions Network, looking at specifically some of the detrimental effects of maltreatment on children's academic performance, having the Center for Educational Disparities Research as a resource allows me to connect with colleagues who are like-minded, who are also interested in understanding some of these determinants of inequities. And perhaps we can help inform trauma-informed approaches or trauma-sensitive approaches in schools to acknowledge that there are other reasons why children are struggling and to hopefully be able to provide a supportive and caring academic experience. And so by bringing together social scientists across different disciplines, SSRI provides the Child Maltreatment Solutions Network with that sort of context or venue by which we can then begin to talk to each other and break down the silos, so to speak.
SSRI is an incredible institute. It's very unique and it's really far-reaching in its scope and its foci, and also really brilliant in bringing together people that would never meet in a million years to start tackling some of these problems from different perspectives.
Penn State, an amazing place to do social and behavioral science. The depth of expertise, the quality of work taking place here, and the infrastructure to support transformative investigations to address health and educational disparities is just phenomenal. And my expectation is those collaborations will continue and deepen, and the work will advance so that we're better able to guide the field in terms of understanding and helping to address these disparities.